Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another well it's not a top 10 but it's a top 25 list, and we had to make this top 25 because dexterity games are probably my favourite genre of game, so I couldn't produce a top 10 in this, so we're going to do a top 25. How about that? So without further ado, as they always say, we'll be back after the staircase bit.
Board Games 4K.
Number 25 on this list is a game designed by Scott Nicholson, and he's a bloke who sort of pioneering the board gaming sort of videos sort of thing, and I used to have a web series called Board Games with Scott, and he created this game called Going Gone, and it's essentially this one. It's like an auction game, but it's also a dexterity game. So you've got these cups, and and everyone's got these cubes, and you've got these countries, and you've got these items built or for sale in these countries, and you're throwing cubes into these cups of the countries that you need, and it's to create these sets. So it's like a set collection game, but it's like an auction dexterity game as well, and it's frantic, it's crazy, and he done a video of this trying to sort of flog this game in his series, and he basically said it's a toy and there's no any rules, you can do whatever you want with it, but it's frantic fun and it's always a good laugh. Going Gone. Number 24 on this list is a French wooden type game called Le Passe Trap, and this game is you got a load of these big wooden discs, and you got it's like a small table with a bar going through the middle of it with a sort of a hole in the middle, and you've got this elasticated strap on either end of the board, and your opponent's sitting opposite you, and it's a two-player game, and you're just pinging these discs through this hole, and the first one to end up with no discs on their side of this bar will win, and it's insane, it's crazy fun. The games don't last long, and it's strange actually, because it's actually quite physical, where you're sort of constantly pinging these discs through this hole. You get sort of arm ache, and you can end up getting a bit sweaty with this one. So yeah, Le Passe Trap, and it was also made by I think an English company. I think made this. I can't remember. Puckett, I think his name was. So yeah, that was made as well. So yeah, Le Passe Trap, number 24. So number 23 on this list is a game by Ravensburger. It's called Match Ball, and all you're doing with this, we've got a set of 3 ping pong balls, and the box transforms into this. Bit like the little fairground things where you're throwing the ball into the hoop type thing, but you've got these sort of these targets in the box, and you score points for each one, and you bounce it. You roll a die, and it's got 1, 2, or 3 on it, and that's how far back you have to stand. So you've got these A4 pieces of card with 1, 2, 3, and you put them 1, 2, 3 furthest away. So if you roll a 3, you're going to be standing further back, and you have to bounce the ball on that 3 before it hits the target, right? So yeah, my kids love this. They think it's insane. It's flown under the radar. I mean, normally Ravensburger games get a bit of hype, don't they? But this one's flown under the radar, and yeah, it plays. It's a really fast game. I think it's first to 15 points wins, and yeah, you should check this one out. Match Ball by Ravensburger, number 23, I think. So number 22 is a game that was originally released by Fantasy Flight. It's called Dungeon Fighter, and what you're doing, it plays like 6 players, and you take a sort of a comic medieval character, and you're trying to work your way through this dungeon. You're throwing these dice onto this target, and trying to kill these monsters and get the treasure and get out. But I mean, this one, the thing that makes this different is that depending on what monster you fight or what weapons you're using or what expansion you're using, you might have to do something while you throw the dice. So you might have to chuck it under your arm, or somebody else might have to throw, like you have to have a limp hand, you throw the die, or you have to do it from behind your back, or you have to jump up and throw it. And I tell you, this game it's bloody difficult. It really is hard to do it, but that's part of the charm of this one. It's so difficult, and when you actually do score that winning shot, the whole room erupts. So yeah, Dungeon Fighter with all the expansions. It's got 4 mini expansions. Yeah, if you could still find it, it's well worth a punt. So number 21 is a game called Coop Quest, and in this one it's a 2-player game. You've got this neoprene mat, and what happens is you got you put the box, when you start the game, you put the box in the centre of the mat, and each player decides where they're going to put all their pieces. So you've got, in the basic game, you've got these, I can't remember what they're called now, they're called grunts, I think, and then you've got orcs, and you've got your king. And what you're trying to do, you're trying to knock your opponent's king off the board by flicking these dice, or their cubes really, and the other player's trying to do the same to you. But if your orc or your dice ends up in the other person's side of the board, then you have to take it off the board. So you've got this little process of elimination there. But yeah, so far you can hurt your fingernails when you're flicking these rock hard discs. But yeah, Coop Quest. If you're buying it new, then I'll contact I think it's GamesWorks, I think, because they try and fold the neoprene mat into the box, and it's all crumpled. So if you contact them, they'll send you one that's rolled up. But yeah, Coop Quest number 21. I think it's number 21. Is it number 21? It's number 21. So number 20 on this list is a game called Dr. Eureka, and all you've got is a series of test tubes, and you've got different coloured balls in the test tubes. You're going to flip over a card, and it's going to tell you how to arrange the different coloured balls in the test tubes that you've got. So you're taking the test tubes, putting them, you know what I mean? So you might have the red at the bottom of this one, but you need it to be at the top of that one. So you've got to sort of, put the balls in different test tubes to get it. And they can do it upside down. And as soon as you've done it, you have to shout Eureka, and then you win that card. And it's the first to get 4 cards. It's a simple doddle game, but yeah, it's mad. Even my 4-year-old, well, he's 8 now, but when he was 4, he could play this one. But it's a great laugh. If you're good at that sort of that hand-to-eye coordination, then you'll love this one. So yeah, I'm no good at it, but that's good because it means that my family can laugh at me, which is always a good thing. But anyway, yeah, Dr. Eureka, number 20. Number 19 is a game from Korea called Clack Lumberjack, and you've got a tree stump with no branches on it, and you've got an axe. And what you're trying to do, you've got 2 taps, and you have to tap out the little blocks of wood. So you've got these bits of trunk with bark, little bits of plastic bark. You might be able to see it on the screen, bark behind me. And you're trying to tap the bark out without moving the actual trunks off the tree stump. And yeah, this is insane. I mean, who would have thought that this game would ever have been made? But it's in the vein of a lot of other Korean games. And yeah, if you can find it, I think it was called it had a different name when it's first released, but this is like the 2nd edition, and it's a bit of a brainless sort of game, but yeah, if you like these sort of plastic Hasbro type dexterity games, I mean, not like the ones with where if you like I don't know, Pie Face or whatever, it's just a matter of time before somebody gets slapped. But yeah, Clack Lumberjacks, it's definitely a quirky, decent game. So number 18 is a small, tiny game, and it only costs about £5, and it's Rhino Hero. So yeah, on this one, what you're doing, everyone's given a certain amount of cards, and you have to. There's 2 types of cards. You've got building cards, and then you've got these sort of special ability cards, or roof cards, I think, or floor cards, whatever they're called. Anyway, the building cards fold in half, and you've got to basically build up this sort of skyscraper out of these precariously placed cards that are folded in half, and then you've got to put a roof card on, and then what roof card you play determines what happens during that turn. So you might have it if you play one with Rhino Hero on it, the person has to take the Rhino Hero token and move it to that space, or you might have to put another card on there, or you might have switcheroo where you go back around the other way, but this game's cheap, it's cheerful, kids can play it, and it's part of the fun is seeing how far you can stack up this huge skyscraper without it falling down, and it's super fun. And I recommend this to everybody of all ages. Rhino Hero. It's on number 18. So number 17 is a game called Loopin' Louie, and it's all Loopin' Chewie, either one, it's the same game. Well, one plays 4, Loopin' Louie plays 4, Loopin' Chewie plays 3. But yeah, what you got, it's a battery operated thing, it's a Hasbro game. And you've got this sort of, this crop duster plane guy on this sort of arm, and it's balanced, it's like a weighted arm. And it's going round and round and round, the motor's pushing this crop dust around, and you've got these buttons you have to press to make the Loopin' Louie fly up in the air. And what you're trying to do as he comes around, you're trying to knock him up so that he comes down and knocks the other person's chicken discs out. So you get 3 discs, and one of the good things about this is even if you lose all your 3 discs, you're not eliminated from the game, because you can still mess up other people's plans, right? And that's one of the good things about this. Looping Louie, it's amazing really, because when we first played, it was like, nah, it's just going to be another Hasbro game, but it's got like a little bit of depth in it, you know. And you sort of think, well, actually, you know, you sort of get it, and it clicks. And I mean, once that happens, then it sort of dissipates quite quickly. But yeah, it's pretty good Hasbro game, Looping Louie. So number 16 is a game that's currently, well, it's not sort of out of print. It's called Gulag, and it's I think it was a Rio Grande Games. It's out of print, but it's been brought back, and it's been made bigger. It's called Pharaoh Gulag, or Pharaoh OO is our copy. But yeah, I mean, ignore the sort of the board aspect of Pharaoh OO, but Gulag, it all revolves around this pot of marbles or pot of wooden balls, and you've got to stick this in there, and things will happen during the game where you've got to try and take the ball out of the pot without the stick falling over and touching the table, right? So yeah, I mean, this one favours small children because their fingers are very slender and very slim, right? So they can get in there and get the little tiny balls out. Whereas me, with my big sausage fingers, I can't do it. So they always have a good laugh at me because I'm so useless at this. But yeah, Gulag or Pharaoh OO, either or. Gulag is really expensive, but it doesn't really matter because yeah, it's a fantastic dexterity game. So number 15, I think we're on. Yeah, number 15 is a game called Hamster Pole, and this one's a bit of an odd one really. It's nothing really quite like it. It's this huge wooden circle thing, and you've got these sort of slats or slots that go around the wheel. It's like a hamster wheel, obviously hamster roll, and you've got these different shapes that you've got to put in different slots. And as you're playing the game, the hamster wheel will roll this way, and things will fall out. So you've got to make sure that you can. What you've got to do is you've got to take one out and put it back on, and then there are all these different shapes, and they slot on top of each other, or some don't. And the fun is sort of trying to position something so when the next person moves, the hamster roll rolls forward, and everything falls out. Yeah. So yeah, that's Hamster Roll number 15. It's a strange, odd game, but yeah, it's well worth a look if you like that sort of thing. So number 14 is a fantastic looking game, and it's called Riffraff, and it's a wooden plywood pirate ship that's got this counterweight on it. And what you're trying to do, you've got these different shaped pirate themed wooden things, and you're trying to put them on the pirate ship without it falling over, you know. And the trick with this game is everyone's got the same hand of cards, and you play. I think the cards are numbered 1 to 10, and you choose. Everyone chooses a card at the same time, reveals, and then the person with the highest or lowest number, I can't remember which it is, will go first. So you know you're bidding for turn order, and then you've got to try and put something on the thing to make it so that the next person the thing falls off. Anyway, this game is fantastic. It really is good. It always gets a cheer when we bring it out, and yeah, it looks absolutely fantastic. I mean, the pirate ship itself is a real centerpiece of the table. So yeah, Riffraff, have a look at it. So number 13 is a Spiel des Jahres winner. It's via Poletti, and this is a sort of similar thing to sort of what do you call it, Jenga sort of thing. So you've got these different sort of cylinders, these wooden cylinders, and you start off with just the lower level, and everyone puts one of the cylinders on, and then somebody puts the next level on. It's a big wooden, different weird shaped abstract thing. You put the thing on, and then you take in your cylinders from the bottom level and put them on the top, and you're trying not to have the whole thing fall over when it's on your turn. I mean, there's some weird rules with this thing called the Master Builder Seal to sort of I don't know, I can't, it always eludes me. I always have to go back and read the rules, but yeah, this is a surprise winner of the Spiel des Jahres way back when. I can't remember what it was, but it still holds up today. Only plays out to 4 players, which is a bit of a downer because it's one of them party games everyone wants to get involved in, but you can only play it with 4. So I'm sure there's a way around it. There must be something on Board Game Geek that lets you play it with more than that. But yeah, via Poletti, it's a super fun game. So number 12 is a recent game. It's called Flick 'em Up, and it's a cowboy sort of shooting, flicking game. Obviously, flick 'em up, you know. And what you got is loads of different scenarios and loads of different bits with these wooden cowboy bits. And all you're doing is, depending on the scenario, you put this little wooden bullet next to you're a cowboy and you're going to flick it and try and knock over your opponent's cowboys or villains or whatever. And there's loads of different expansions. There's the Stallion Canyon expansion, and then there's Red Rock Tomahawk expansion, and then you've got the Dead of Winter expansion, which we haven't played, but yeah, flick them up. It lasts you a lifetime because there's so many different things to do with it, and it's just it's one of them excellent flicking games that should be on your radar if you like dexterity games. So that's number, well, I can't remember what number it is. Anyway, we got on to the next one. So number 11 is a game that's quite difficult to get hold of in the UK. It's a game called Sorry Sliders, and we had to have it imported from the United States because we couldn't get it over here. But yeah, this is sort of like tabletop curling, yeah. So I don't know if you've heard of that. So what you're doing is you've got there's target in the centre of the board, and you've got loads like different. You can set up different ways, but you've got these sort of runs that you slot in, and you're going to use these. It's like sorry. What do they call it? Sorry tokens on these with these ball bearings on the end. And you're going to flick them and try and get it as close to the centre as possible, but you can knock other people's stuff out of the way. And the fact that you can set this up in multiple different ways, it's really endlessly replayable, and it suits real young children. Even my 4-year-old was playing this when he was 2. But yeah, Sorry Sliders, if you can get it. Obviously, if you live in the United States, then it's easier for you to get, right? But Sorry Sliders, if you love dexterity games, then you need to have this on your shelf. So here we go then. It's the top 10 dexterity games that we like. We haven't played them all, but these are the ones that we played, and these are the ones that we do own them all actually, apart from Dead of Winter, flick them up. But anyway, yes, so number 10 is a game called Booby, and it's a sort of a dexterity replication of football or soccer if you're in the United States. So what you got a piece of MDF which has got a nice green felt thing on it, and you've got these pins that are stuck in like sort of football formations, and you've got this bit of elastic outside of the board, all attached to these pins around the outside. And what you've got this little paddle, and you're flicking this ball bearing, trying to get it into the opponent's goal. And yeah, it's fantastic. It's only a 2-player game. It's not really widely known about this, but we picked it up for peanuts. It's an old version of this, and we love it. We love Booby. It's a fantastic game. Me and my kids were playing it during the World Cup, and we were sort of a bit geeky, but we were replicating some of the games, and yeah, we had a blast with this one, and it's just sneaked onto the top 10. So if you can find Booby and you've got a little bit of room, because it's quite a big game, then have a look at this one. So number 9, and this one makes the list on scale alone. It's huge. There's so much stuff available for this one. It's Catacombs, and it doesn't really matter what edition you get, but the 3rd edition is the best one because it's got the most stuff. So with this one, it's a sort of a swords and sorcery disc flicking dexterity game. So you're trying to make your way through this different tiered dungeon, and everyone takes the role of a different sort of fantasy character, wizard or whatever, fighter, and you're going to be flicking your disc through, trying to hit monsters, trying to kill them. You've got spells, you've got different weapons, you've got all the monsters have got different abilities, and yeah, it's a simple premise, but sometimes it's bogged down by the complexity of all the little rules and all the cards that are stuck out. But once you get that into your head, then it's definitely well worth a look. I mean, this has got so many different expansions. It's got the Caverns of Soloth, the Wyverns expansion. It's got, well, there's just so much to it if you can get hold of it. So yeah, Catacombs, it's definitely worth a look, and it's got that lovely sort of comic fantasy art, not the Munchkin style, but it's got that nice sort of jagged, sort of abrasive fantasy art that really fits with the game well. And yeah, there's just released a new expansion of this. It's just been successfully backed on Kickstarter, so hopefully we'll have that soon, and maybe we'll do a playthrough and a review of Catacombs once we get that. So yeah, Catacombs number 9. So number 8 is probably the oldest game. I think it's a Canadian game. It's 200 years old or something daft. Anyway, it's Crocodile. And yeah, we haven't got the big full-size Crocodile board. We've got the next size down from that. But yeah, because we ain't got much space in there now, as you can see. Well, if you've seen any of our other videos, you know. But yeah, Crocodile, what you're doing is a big circular board, and you've got a hole in the middle, and you're trying to flick your disc and get it in the hole. But if you've got other discs on the board, you have to hit one of your other discs before you hit anything else, right? So that's it. I mean, yeah, so it's a simple game, but my God, the amount of depth that is in this, the tactics, strategy, the skill, the pure skill of this game is unrivaled in any other game, I think, you know, and that's part of the reason why it's not up higher, because I'm rubbish at it. And yeah, but I love bringing this out. It always, people are always like, wow, what's this? And they've not heard of it, even though it's quite famous. You've got world championships and all that. But yeah, Crocodile is a fantastically classic dexterity game. A lot of people don't class this as a board game, and I think some people get annoyed that it's on these lists, but it's there and we love it, and it's Crocodile. It's number 8. So number 7 on this list is there's 2 games because they're practically the same. It's a game called Junk Art / Balzac, and they're essentially the same game, but Junk Art is a sort of a re-theming of Balzac. They wouldn't admit that, I don't think people would admit that. But yeah, it's Jenga with a purpose. Yeah, so in both games you've got these abstract pieces and you're trying to stack them on top of each other without them falling over or something. But whereas Balzac is just a case of just stacking these things up. I mean, the red pieces are more difficult to stack than the white pieces. Junk Art takes it onto another level and actually has scenarios or reasons for doing so. And there's a lot more game in Junk Art, which needs an expansion, by the way. I think it's is it Pretzel Games, is it? Can't remember who made it, but you need an expansion for Junk Art, right? So yeah, Junk Art is our number 7. So number 6 is one of our favourite dexterity games of all time. It's a game that completely and utterly flew under the radar. I don't think many people know about this game or played this game. It's called Blocky Mountains, and you've got this. It's a very odd game. You've got these. How do you actually explain it? It's trying to sort of simulate moving your way up through this mountain range to get to the top of this mountain or to do whatever. You've got this. You've got your explorer. You've got a grizzly bear, and you've got these hooks on pieces of string, and you've got these hooks on these sort of wooden poles, and you've got these huge blocks that you put in different shapes depending on the scenario or the challenge that you're doing, and you're either trying to swing your block across these I'm not explaining it very well, am I? Trying to swing your explorer or your bear across these blocks or drag them or whatever. And you've also got a pack of provisions that's represented by a little disc that you might have to sort of knock. Maybe you'll see something about it behind me, but you'll have to knock that provisions along and get to the end. And there's a few expansions for this. We had to contact the designer personally to get hold of them, like the what was it called, the Rockfall expansion, and there was a book of scenarios. But this one is an undiscovered gem, and it is absolutely fantastic. And if you can find it, if you can find Blocky Mountains, it's lavishly produced. It's an absolute blast to play. It plays out to 7 people. And you should definitely, if you love dexterity games, then Blocky Mountains should be on your list. And it's an absolute travesty that more people haven't played this one. So yeah, if you love dexterity games and you love a new twist on dexterity games and something that's truly original, it's a truly original game, then Blocky Mountains, you've got I'll put a link in the description if I've got time about where you can get it from. And yeah, Blocky Mountains, fantastic undiscovered gem. So moving on, number 5 is game called Tomblin Dice, and you've got this this huge sort of plywood board in different levels, and all you're doing, you've got this plinth, this pedestal. You put your dice on there, and you're flicking your die down this ridged how do you put it, down this ridged board, and you've got these 3 scoring areas at the end, and if you get them on the scoring area you score more points, but depending on where the die ends up, you get the number of pips that are on the die times by the level that you're on, right? And that's it. And it's it can be played, if you get an extra few sets of dice, you can play this with like 10-20 people if you want. I mean, it gets really manic, but it's really fast playing. It's a little bit mathy because obviously you've got I think it's the first 200 points, I think, so you've got to sort of times and then add and all that sort of thing, and maybe a little bit of subtraction, so it can get a little bit mathy, you know, pen and paper and all that sort of thing. But yeah, insofar as it's a really good mix of luck and skill with Tomblin Dice, and it's expensive, but it's worth it. So number 4 is a game that you should not play with people with long fingernails, and it's Jungle Speed. And with this one, you've got literally got a totem pole in the centre of the table, and everyone's dealt a hand of cards, and on these cards you've got these abstract patterns. And what you're trying to do is you you're playing a card, and when the cards match, you've got to grab the totem pole, right? But the thing about this game, and the wonderful thing about this game, is that the patterns on the cards are incredibly similar, right? So some of them look just that little bit different than the other one, right? So you get people losing it and trying to grab the totem pole. No, they've made a mistake. There's not the card don't match, right? So yeah, fantastic game. And if you've got a spare 5 minutes, I urge you to have a look at the video on YouTube. Search on YouTube for Jungle Speed Extreme, and if you've got this, have a go with that. Yeah, Jungle Speed Extreme. But yeah, what number 4 is a wonderful game called Jungle Speed. So number 3 is another Korean game, and we backed this on Kickstarter years ago, and we love this. It's a game called Coconuts, and what you've got with this one, you've got these little plastic monkeys with springy arms, and these little rubber coconuts and some cups in the centre of the table, and you're putting the coconut on the springy arms, and you're flicking the springy arms so the coconut tries to flick into these cups. And what you're trying to do is you take the cup and you put it on your player mat, and once you've got a row of 3 with 1 on top, you win. But the trick and the wonderful thing about this one is that the other players can target your cups that you've got on your player board. And if it's this one, we always get this one for birthday presents for kids and adults, and we always get it for Germany, because I think it's really cheap in Germany. You can pick it up for like €12 or something. But yeah, Coconuts is a wonderful dexterity game. It's got absolutely wonderful components, and everybody loves this one who's played it. They love it. So yeah, Coconuts is our number 3. So number 2 is a Scandinavian game. It's Klask, or Klask or whatever, and it's a wonderful game. We love this game. It's so good. It's a 2-player game, and you've got a board that's raised up above the table, and you've got this ball in that you put on the table, right? And you've got this magnetic sort of it's like a pole, like a controller sort of thing. So half of it's on top of the thing, and then the magnet bit goes underneath. And you've also got these 3 little magnetic white, what they call token things on the board. So what you're trying to do, you're trying to push the ball into your opponent's little goal. It's like a recess on their side of the board, all the while not putting your magnetic pole into your hole, or getting 2 of these little white things stuck to your pole, right? And it's the first one to 6 points, I think. And yeah, it's really skillful. You know, I've played this with all my kids. My wife likes it. Everyone loves this game, and it's a timeless thing, and we're never going to get rid of it, and it's always going to be in our collection, and my kids will inherit it from me, and it will become a classic like Crocodile, because it's such a wonderful game. And Klask should be in your collection, no doubt about it. So number 1 on this list, it's the best dexterity game I've ever played, and it's the best dexterity game that I will ever play, and it's called Pitch Car. What you're doing with this one, you've got some big bits of NDF track that are in different shapes, like curves or long straights or short straights or crosses or flyovers or tunnels or jumps, or it's just unbelievable the amount of stuff. What they do, they all fit together, and you've got these little discs, and you're just flicking the disc around the track, and it's the first one to get to win the race. Yeah, 1, 2 or 3 laps, or however many laps you want to do. And there's a few little rules about the thing when you knock somebody else's disc off, or when things turn over or whatever. But it's so simple. It's so varied. You've got expansions upon expansions that you build up on an upper level, higher level. You've got stunt expansions. You've got crossovers. You've got all sorts of things, and it's so varied. You can make up your own ones. You can replicate the Grand Prix if you want. You know what I mean? It's insane. But yeah, my kids love this. I've had so many good times playing this with my kids. We always bring it out at parties. We always bring it out on tabletop day. And yeah, it's a timeless classic, and it's a wonderful game. It brings people together, this one, and it's I can't recommend it enough. Even if you just get Pitch Car Mini, which is a reduced size version of this, Pitch Car is a wonderful game. So yeah, that's my number 1 dexterity game of all time. If you like this video, if you thought this was informative and educational, or if you thought it was rubbish and you're never going to watch us again, then, well, you wouldn't subscribe to the channel if that's the case. But I'm urging you, I'm not begging you, I don't beg, but I'm asking you very politely if you would consider subscribing to the channel, and if you would consider just giving us a little comment down below. I know it's really difficult, I know it takes a lot of effort, but please just do something. Write something down in the comments below. Tell us what you liked, tell us what you didn't like, tell us what you want us to do next, tell us a secret, tell us a recipe for I don't know, like spotted dick or something. But above all, like, subscribe and comment, and we'll see you